what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update from Michal Krizo at just 3 weeks out now from the M Pro Classic in Spain. So this is going to be an important show for Michal Krizo because he still has to qualify for the Olympia. He is not qualified right now, so this will be his opportunity to get there again and try to crack the top 10 this time around. Now, last year, Michal Krizo said that it wasn't his initial goal to jump in the Olympia immediately, but then he turned pro so quickly, and then he qualified so fast, his sponsor wanted him to go ahead and do the show, and that's why he did it. And he felt like it was kind of a rush decision, and he felt like maybe he didn't look as good as he could have looked. And he feels like this time around, this year, with more pacing and better planning, he'll be able to crack the top 10 and do a lot better. And I think so, too. I just think we didn't get to see as sharp of a version of Michal Krizo as we potentially could have. And I think based on what we're seeing here in this side tricep, in this kind of a side most muscular here, you can see that he's in pretty good shape for 3 weeks out for a guy of his size. Now, granted, we haven't really heard of a whole lot of guys doing this Spain show. It could wind up to be a stack show with the international guys, but as far as guys that we're familiar with over here stateside, I haven't heard of really anybody. And one of the big guys that we think is going to be a potential threat here, we talked about him a couple of videos ago, that was Joan Perdels. And while he's got a very good physique, he's a very young guy and a very, very new pro. And the size that he's put on is also very new, so he doesn't quite have that mature muscle yet like Krizo does. Realistically speaking, I'm expecting to see Krizo pick up a relatively easy win at this Spain show, and I'm expecting to see him at the Olympia and this to be his qualifying opportunity, or this to be the show that he does actually qualify at. I'd be very surprised, quite frankly, if Michal Krizo does not win this show, and this will be the first time we've seen him since the Olympia. So after that show, we're going to be able to gauge how good he's looking, you know, from a conditioning standpoint. Did he improve? I think a little bit fuller and a little bit sharper from the Olympia version of Krizo is what we're going to be looking for here in Spain. Now, as far as the show that's right around the corner, tomorrow's Cali Pro, Sergio Oliva Jr. has been officially added to that Cali Pro lineup. Now, we haven't seen him post or say anything as of right now when I'm recording this video, after he posted his initial post saying he jumped on a flight, a direct flight from Dubai to Cali, and that he's in California and ready to compete. So we weren't 100% sure about that post because he did disable the comments, and we didn't actually see a picture of him yet in California. But that competitor list, which was originally posted on May 22nd, 2023 at 4 p.m., was updated as of May 26, 2023. So today at 12:54 p.m. to reflect the addition of Sergio Oliva Jr. So it looks like right now he's dead serious. He really is jumping in that show. We're finally going to get to see him compete. So we didn't get to see him compete in Brazil. We didn't get to see him compete in New York. Both shows he wanted to do. We didn't really know why. We didn't know if he was facing some kind of travel issues, an issue with a visa, an issue with whatever the case was with his traffic incident that he had in Dubai. But it looks like he was able to get back to the States, get back to California, and do this Cali Pro. And I'm going to be interested to see if now that he's back, he stays here and does not return to Dubai. And if he does stay here, if he continues to compete, because we really don't know what version of Sergio we can expect to see at this Cali Pro. Like I said in a couple of the videos where we talked about all these updates from Sergio, he's been prepping for months now, not knowing which show he was actually going to be able to do and not really having an effective strategy to be able to peak for a specific show, because it seems like he really didn't know if he was going to be able to do New York or be able to do Brazil or be able to do Cali. So it seems like he really didn't expect on being able to get to this Cali Pro and peak for it. And he said in his post when he arrived in LA that he's looking watery right now and he's kind of stressed out, and he's probably still a little bit jet lagged if he just landed in Cali from a flight all the way from Dubai. Typically these guys like to get in like a week before the show. Sergio got in like 1 day before, so he's really not going to have a whole lot of time now that he's there to really dial it in. So I'm curious to see what he does actually look like next to a guy like Tonio Burton, next to the beef stew guy. What I wanted to point out here was I don't see Mohammed Shaban's name added to this list yet, even though he put up a post yesterday or the day before saying he was in the Cali Pro, which is a show he's competed in a couple times before. So I would expect if he says he's going to do it, he is. Then he's going to be doing the following week's Toronto Pro. But right now, it looks like Sergio Oliva Jr. officially added to this Cali Pro lineup, and I, for one, am excited to see him compete. Is he going to be the guy that can take away some of the momentum from Tonio Burton after the New York Pro win? I mean, that was a major win for Tonio, especially after his showing at the Olympia. Regardless of how deep or competitive that New York Pro lineup was, that was a really big win for him. And obviously, he's got a ton of momentum going into the show. Prior to the announcement of Sergio jumping in, I would say Tonio was by far the favorite to win this thing. So is Sergio going to come in here and change all that? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Now, another guy that initially said he was doing the Cali Pro is Patrick Moore, and based on this latest physique update from Patrick, he says in the caption that now he's prepping for the Orlando Pro Show. So it looks like he set his plans for the Cali Pro to the side. Obviously, he was on neither version of the competitor list, not even the first one or the updated one. So it looks like he's for sure out of Cali, and he's back to the drawing board preparing for Orlando. So my question to you guys is, what do you think about Patrick Moore in his prospects this season? Because he made this big comeback to the Arnold Classic. It was his first time back on stage in over a year, I think almost 2 years. And he ended up placing last place there. Now, he said he was going to do this Cali Pro. It looks like he's not doing it. Back to the drawing board. Now he's doing Orlando. Do you guys think Patrick Moore has a shot at a major comeback here, winning a show, getting to the Olympia, and one day cracking that top 10 again like he did back in 2019? Because honestly, while I did think Patrick looked a little bit bigger on the Arnold Classic stage, I didn't think his conditioning was on par to where it was back in 2019. I honestly don't think that Patrick has been back to that level of conditioning, 2019 Olympia conditioning, since then. And I think the other area for Patrick that needs improvement is the legs. I thought the legs looked brought up at the Arnold Classic, but again, not significantly. I noticed like minor improvements to the legs, but not significant improvements. And I think he still needs to make significant improvements to the lower body to really be a little bit more competitive in some of these shows. But just like Sergio, man, I wish the best for Patrick, and I hope he's able to do well and get back to the Olympia stage. I want to see him do good because he was one of the guys that kind of shifted that tide. When he was at the 2019 Olympia, he was one of those guys that people were like, wow, this guy has got an aesthetic, pleasing physique to look at, small waist, really good conditioning, not a mass monster, but, you know, he's being rewarded here, and this is like a totally different physique than what we typically see in men's open bodybuilding. He's got a small waist, a vacuum pose, this great V-taper. He's not one of these 300-plus pound guys, but he's really aesthetic, and a lot of people were drawn to that physique. To see that in men's open is just different. You don't see it every day. So I want to see him get back to that and even do better than that. I just honestly don't think we've seen that 2019 version of him since. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, the latest physique update from Nick Walker, where he says this is certainly the biggest and the leanest he's been at this weight, 282 pounds. Now, we've had the pleasure of seeing Nick at two recent guest posing, the Pittsburgh Pro and a guest posing that was like the week after that. So we have a pretty good idea of what he's looking like lately in his kind of post-Arnold Classic rebound period. And I agree with the caption. I think for a guy that weighs 282 pounds, he looks phenomenal. Because again, I think a lot of people forget that Nick is a much shorter guy than Andrew Jacked or Samson Dowda. They're much taller than him. They're over 6 foot tall. So when you talk about them being close to 300 pounds and over 300 pounds, it's on a much bigger frame. So I think it's pretty impressive the amount of muscle that Nick's been able to add to that frame and not really terribly sacrifice his structure. He's been able to maintain a relatively good structure, whether or not that's just the control that he has over his midsection. He's done a really good job of that and not letting that show. Now, I would assume the focus for Nick Walker during this offseason and then going into his prep for the Olympia is going to be bringing up his quads, his legs specifically from where they were at the Arnold Classic. I think the leaner look that he had at the Arnold Classic really sacrificed some of that fullness and size in his legs. And I think that should be the main focus going into the Olympia, and I think that is the main focus. While adding size to his legs and not thickening up the midsection, I think is the dual goal there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As far as the 2023 Mr. Olympia, do you think that Nick Walker will move up in placings or move backward in placings based on what we're seeing from him so far, what we saw from him at the Arnold Classic, and what you think you might see from him at the Olympia? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.